Now the name of this act is Show Us Your Nuts, so start clapping now for the Grae area.
After the show, mate. It's only for the groupies. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I arrived a bit late tonight. My taxi driver took me to the wrong venue. So if any of you end up at the Polish Club, that's at 167 Barrier Street, Fishwick. Stand up means a very different thing over there. This is here because I've had trouble with my latest medication that causes weight gain, loss of libido, and loss of memory. And that's shit because I can't sell it on the black market anymore like I did the old stuff. Now, some of the material I use tonight may be familiar because I wasn't here for Ross's turn, so I may be stealing some of his stuff and not get away with it, okay? I'll ask a three-tiered question. Are there still people here with a mental illness? Yeah. Can you raise your hand if you're taking medication for that mental illness? Okay. Is anybody taking Circus? No, they're not. Shit, I left one at home. Bloody hell. Tight asses. You're probably lying to me anyway. I've got to say, oh, there's a lady here. Oh, here we go. I've got to mention, I took my mother-in-law to the polling booth, and I won't say she's a control freak, but she took the paper out of my hand and filled it out for me. We've got to ask ourselves a question. The government wasn't even sworn in. 2 days before, their first announcement to the public was global warming is a myth. Okay, and then they declare the cabinet. First time since 1931, there's no minister for science. Okay, we can be honest here. The election's over. Who voted Labor? Okay, who voted for the coalition? Okay, well I've asked a lot of people this, and the really amazing thing is that no one voted for the Flat Earth Society, but the bastards are running the country now. That's generic. Geez, you're a tight ass. You're not getting him back for that. The term mental health consumer, I think it's a bit of misguided, but you've got to ask yourself the question, in this consumer society we live in, what is the big thing, the central premise of being a mental health consumer? And I've come up with the question that you try as many as you like until you find one that you do like. Now, I tried multiple personality disorder. I didn't know I was that good at it because it didn't take me long. I live alone since the split, and I left a note on the fridge saying, buy milk. Then I came back later that afternoon and there was another note saying, you buy it, you bastard. Well, aside from the natural gift for it, I had to give it away because I can't stand crowds. There were, I tried chemical abuse for a while. I started at the shallow end with caffeine. Yeah, I was up to, 8, 9 cups a day. And I eventually got off it, but to this day I still put tea bags in the coffee to give it that extra. I tried self-medicating with alcohol, and it was very limiting, I've got to say, because I couldn't wear red because it always clashed with my eyes. I got to the stage where I said, no, this is too restricting, so I tried the escalator program. Somebody heard of the escalator program? That's people who couldn't be bothered with the 12 steps. Getting back to the Liberals, my God. I've got to say, the Labor Party, well, they're trying a new tack and be inclusive and trying to broaden their supporter base by having the election for their parliamentary leader. That's all well and good, but what do the Liberals do? Well, what they do is, hi, Popey, it's Tony. What are we going to do? Yeah, he's got him, hasn't he? He looks like he's wearing incontinence pad all the time. And the tennis balls under the armpits. What is that? What is it? Now. Anyway, speaking of peculiar people, my ex-in-laws, I suppose they're still the in-laws, but they're in this cult. You may have heard of it. It's called the Catholics. I know. I got the email saying, be very careful about defamation action and whatever, but I say, well, bugger them, because they buggered a lot of people in their time. It's about time they turn it around, isn't it? Yeah. My 6-year-old daughter, when we were looking at which school she was going to, the in-laws really applied the pressure to enrol her in Catholic school. And I said, I'm not comfortable with this at all. Anyway, so the ex, who was my wife at the time, said, we'll go and talk to the parish priest. So we go there to the parish priest's office, and he says, what are your concerns with the Catholic education of your daughter? And I said, well, 700 years of the Inquisition for a start. And he said, well, the best way to look upon that is as a loyalty program. Again, I kept my cool, and I said, what, do you mean if you get enough frequent torture points, you get a trip straight to heaven? And if you repent on the way, you're upgraded to business class. Anyway, he said, yes, well, yeah, pretty much. And I said, well, I'll be buggered. And that's when he said, okay, let's go. The main driver behind this Catholic push, I suppose you'd call it, was, and still is, my mother-in-law. I'll give you an idea of the sort of overbearing, I won't say bitch, that she is, because the grand final, I said to the father-in-law, I said, who do you think will win the grand final? He said, hang on, and he went and asked his wife. The whole idea of the Catholic Church is something I still try to get my head around, because my daughter is unfortunately now in a Catholic school. coming up to Christmas, which is amazingly with Coles and Woolworths. It always starts on the 1st of September because you can buy fruit mince pies with a little holly on them, just so you can practice eating them in case you get it wrong on the day. I do have a problem, not with that, because so I had a commerce degree from ANU, and I can understand the consumer situation and trying to get a profit out of it. They have so many cycles a year. I do have a problem with celebrating the life of a Jew with a leg of ham and a strange little uninvited guy in a red uniform coming in uninvited. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Grae area showing us his nuts.